Oh, you know what time it is. Yes, you do. I don't know. Listen, it is time. And you're no one can see you yet. This is like, look, I've got a fancy production room here, Christian. You just have to let me do the intro. Then you're going to be brought on screen. This is a whole thing. You're so behind. Listen, you just sit back and enjoy the Jobtopia experience. Today, you've already heard from Christian already. He was supposed to remain quiet behind the scenes, but he's already blown it. We got Christian from SourceFlow, and we're going to get into some sales marketing strategies that they use that they find very effective. He's frantically preparing for his next week's Lunch and Learn. We're going to talk a little bit about those strategies, how that works. But we're also going to dive into a little bit behind the scenes for sales and marketing for Christian himself, how he goes to market, some of the challenges that he finds in the marketplace, some of his favorite tools that he uses. I think it's very, very relevant for us to listen to and learn from others in the space. And listen, this is it. This is your intro. You're now here.
I'm official now. All right. Sorry. I know I blew everything. So.
You totally blew it. And I've got even more for you. I've got special things prepared for you.
I love it.
You look, and we go even further. Now, for those of you who are just listening on Spotify, you can. Well, actually, on Spotify now we have the video, so you're able to see this now. But for those of you who are just stuck back in the 2000s and just doing the audio, I'm showing off with all my fancy banners and scrollers and tickers, showing him all the latest technology that is available for us podcasters. And this is a great setup for live stream too. I haven't wanted to take that leap and do a live stream. I thought, I did a few on LinkedIn, but it's a little hairy.
Clearly, this is a pretty solid setup. So I think those platforms are got a lot of other stuff going on. So I don't think they're focusing just on delivering a quality product like this. So I think everyone's trying to get on your level here.
Yes. What level that is, we don't know yet. Okay. As I mentioned at the top, you are very busy preparing for your Lunch and Learn in Boston. And tell us about the event. I know you've got some big names in staffing and technology. So tell us what's going to be happening out there in Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is this was born out of our UK headquarters. We've been running some brunch and learns. Brunch is a bigger thing there, so they do brunch and learns. So they've had that series now for this past year and have had some great attendance, and it's been very popular. So we are, I know we're newer in the States, so it's about time we bring that series stateside, and we're starting with Boston since I'm local to Boston, and Boston is a great staffing community. So we're bringing the series to Boston, and we're hosting our first one next Wednesday, which just outside of Boston, still Boston area, but on Waltham. So basically anyone in greater Boston, Massachusetts, even some people from Rhode Island or Southern New Hampshire can jump on down for lunch next Wednesday and hear from some expert speakers talking on all topics top of mind for staffing agencies in 2025. And like you said, it's technology, it's AI, and it's sales and marketing filling the funnel. And so those are kind of the expert topics, and everyone is able to kind of network with each other and grab some free coffee and lunch along the way. So really excited to start this series here stateside.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win strategy. And I kind of mentioned at the top, and I've talked to other marketing professionals that like this type of engagement with the marketplace. So what goes into creating an event like this? How do you market it other than going on hugely popular podcast?
Yeah, I know. Right. I mean, this is like Joe Rogan level. I can't believe I'm being asked to get on here.
Maybe not.
right now.
Maybe not.
Yeah, okay.
Let's roll that back ahead. But No, so that there's a lot that goes into it, and I kind of like to hear, your opinion in terms of maybe the success that you've seen overseas. You did say the brunch and learn. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I know the concept. I had to educate them that like that wouldn't really kind of work in the middle of the week here,
Right.
but something similar. So we just changed it. It's a lunch and learn, so it's unique to us. Uh, but yeah, to your point, I think. I mean, look, when we start this event, it's about our contacts. We have a brand now. We've been around for several years, so we have a good community, and people know who we are, getting to know who we are. So, and I've been in the staffing industry for 7 or 8 years now, starting at Bullhorn back in 2018. So. I know a lot of people locally. I know a lot of firms locally. So it's reaching out to the local network. And then from there, it's working with our marketing team and, hitting multiple channels. It's not totally novel, right? I mean, we're trying to hit, email, LinkedIn, giving people some phone calls, just letting them know that we're hosting the event, and creating some videos and doing some networking like this. People like yourself that are open to having us on the podcast and giving us a shout. But yeah, those are
Oh, there's
basically
a
the few
price to
channels.
pay for this, Christian. You're not just you just don't get to skate. Either you have no idea what you're going to have to pay.
Okay, I'll wait the invoice. Um,
Oh no, it's the live questioning that you're going to be getting.
oh
That's how you
God,
pay.
okay,
Yes, no,
okay,
it's the tongue twisting, answers that I'm going to expect out of you.
of
I
course,
wish you had not got the free promo.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, we've had a great turnout in the UK, and we're getting a great turnout for next week. And yeah, we're really excited to host this first one, and I think it'll really take off. And then we'll look to plan the next one too.
I think what I like about bringing other experts in to carry on in the conversation is that you're tapping into their network as well,
Mhm.
so they can whatever efforts you're going through and your contacts and your name brand, they have that as well for their companies. So that's you're getting 3 or 4 different companies kind of marketing the same event. So that's good. But then I think you
Mhm.
end up with a lot of good content, afterwards that you can break it down into bite sizes and then share it with the rest of the country because obviously, I don't know. Maybe you're expecting people from California to fly over. Probably not.
Nah, not
So
quite.
but
No.
that's the point though. So then you can
Yeah.
do these great snippets, that come
Exactly.
out of it, and kind of build
Yeah.
that and build your brand that way.
Exactly. I think it's yeah. I think it's Look, I think it's become a remote world. Obviously, COVID and everything expedited that, but I think maybe I'm skipping ahead here for you, but I think it's nice to get some experts together and get the community together, and it's not a sales pitch or vendor forum. It's really just about sharing insights and people coming to learn and share knowledge, and then obviously inherently you're kind of getting your brand awareness through these events.
Yeah.
And I think that's a nicer way to interact with people when you're kind of now doing a lot of things virtually, right? And there's less connecting and less client on-site visits, and so it's
Excellent
just
point.
nice to be
I,
able to do things like that.
I think people maybe who aren't in the staffing industry, you may not realize this, but we're people. I mean, we literally thrive around being around people. I mean, if you've ever
Hmm.
put A-type personalities in a room of people, I mean, the volume level goes up. You don't need alcohol. You just put us
No,
together and the stories and the camaraderie, it just kind of kicks into high gear. And that's what you get in an event like this is real positive emotional connections with people. And people will remember that and they'll want to come back. I've been to networking seminars where I'm not saying the content will be secondary, but I've been to conferences where the networking was actually better than the conference. I'm not saying that's
yeah,
going to happen here. What I'm saying is you're going to have both great
hmm
content and then that great networking and getting to meet people. So that's why I'm a proponent for doing these types of events. Now, I've not put any on, but talking to you, seeing how you've set this up, I've gotten some beautiful emails from y'all. Your emails they're crisp, they're clean, very colorful. It's nice. You do a nice job with the marketing of that. So I could, and I actually shared your email promotional uh, that I got. I think it was this morning actually, with another vendor who's
Oh,
been
cool.
who's been networking with me, trying to figure out new ways to do content. And
Hmm.
I said, y'all should look at what Christian's doing, with SourceFlow because It's up in Boston, and this might give you some ideas for your company. So it was really well done. All right, so let's
Awesome.
shift over to, let's talk a little bit about who is your target customer,
Mhm.
and what is your approach to engaging them? We already know you've got this, event. So let's leave this event promotion out of it. So your normal day, who is your target, your ideal customer profile, and how do you go about reaching them and engaging them and getting them to, sit down and talk?
Yeah, of course. I think historically we've since our founder's previous company and now with SourceFlow, which was born in 2021, we're really a marketing platform for the staffing and recruiting space. So any staffing and recruiting agency, in some cases talent teams, that are looking to amplify their recruitment marketing efforts, that's that's it, right? If you want to improve your brand, increase traffic and conversion through your website or career site, we're a great option for that. So really, it's any staffing and recruiting agency or any talent team that's looking to attract and convert more talent at the top of the funnel. Um, and
So
so,
who specifically though, Christian? No, that's no, you perfectly have said that's the industry. That makes sense. But like within those companies, are you do you target the CMO, the founder, who?
yeah. So it obviously, of course, it varies per company because people share different roles and different titles, and it's always structured a little bit differently. Typically, it's marketing leaders that are owning that. In some cases, more common in the States, I'd say it's shared with technology and operations leaders as well. So we'll often marketing is kind of number one, and then there are people that own tech and operations that have a vested interest in and decision making, have a seat at the table when any technology decision is made. So I'd say, yeah, marketing, technology, and operations seem to be the most common people within a staffing and recruiting industry, firm.
And you probably have different approaches, right, to reach out to marketing, tech, and ops.
Mm-hmm. Of
So
course.
what works in sales? Like, give us some sales insight. What seems to be most effective in, say, reaching these different types of profiles?
Yeah, I'd say it's like any good sales leader and professional. You're not. It doesn't. You need a different approach with each one, like you said, right? People care about different things. It's not a one size fits all. So make
Mm.
sure that your messaging, and that's something that either you, if you're younger, then you need and don't know the industry as well, then you need to sit down with your marketing and sales leaders and figure that out. If you've got it well baked, and you know what's going on, then you're sitting down and you're creating tailored messaging for each persona. So because let's just say marketing is going to care about different things than your, CIO, right? Your CIO is probably going to care about, does the technology fit in with the current tech stack?
Hmm.
Does it fit current security standards, right? To reduce cybersecurity risk and or vulnerabilities. Whereas your marketing person's like, well, my prerogative here is to increase traffic conversion and bring money into the business and then not defend, but justify that the
Justify.
investment dollars in marketing are returning on investment, right? That we are making good investments, and if we're not, this is why that's happening, right? Or where are our best sources of revenue? So they're totally different,
Yeah, you have
kind of
they're
things
different
to focus.
animals in the way you
Yeah,
have to approach them and attack. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And then operations, and then sales cares about different things too, right? Sales just wants more leads. And so how are they going to get that? How is your technology going to help with that? So again, they care about different things. So you need to make sure that when you're hitting your email campaigns or your phone campaigns, that you have your messaging on point for when you get their attention.
So as VP sales, what's the biggest challenge that you personally face? Like, what's the biggest obstacle that you see maybe happening on your own desk or within your team when you go to market?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, we've been lucky. I'd say in that uh, we've been growing steadily throughout what's been categorized as a fairly difficult time for staffing and recruiting the last 12, 24 months. That being said, I'd say the challenges are always, for any sales leader, is slowing sales cycles, right? Which could be a direct byproduct of the economy, right? So, and the only kind of remedy for that, as always, is filling that funnel, right? Is making sure your pipeline is constantly full, so that, you know, if opportunities slip or push, that others are right behind. So you don't have to feel like you're forcing things, right? You want to foster good relationships and want people to sign on with you, but you don't want to push people in a way that they don't want to be pushed. So yeah, I think, you know, and on top of that, it's again, things like we just discussed. It's, you know, selling now in a more remote world, how to get in front of your customers a little bit better, as a byproduct of that too. So
Yeah.
those are a few things top of mind.
Yeah. What kind of dog do you have? It's okay.
Oh my God.
It's
We have
okay.
a
I'll just call the elephant out in the room. It's totally fine. What do
Oh
you
my
have?
God. I have a resident dog who's a
Oh, you
staffy.
foster dogs too, don't you?
Yeah, I have a resident dog that's a staffy mix, and then we have a foster dog that's a pretty full pit bull. So she's a sweetheart, but she can get aggravated at times. So
Yeah, you just can't. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do to try to like soundproof and get away. If you've got one of those dogs that just something bothers them, you're going to hear it. So the big rumbly trucks set my dog off. I don't
Oh,
care
really?
how far back away we are from the road.
Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah.
hear this low, rumbly, grumbly, I'm upset, and da, da,
Oh
da,
my
and
God.
God
So
forbid they come
yeah,
up the driveway.
we're lucky that we don't have like the reactivity with the barking, but if she sees something like inside and she has some FOMO, then she just started that behavior after a few weeks. So
Uh-huh.
time to curb it. Time to get the training back.
Yeah, so total side note, but my friend here in Cartersville, she started a dog rescue
Oh,
in
cool.
Bartow County. And so
Yeah.
I've kind of been alongside her watching her, you know, kind of build this and put it together. A lot of strange rules in place for, at least here in Georgia, you can't get a grant to get funding for your nonprofit until you've been in business for 3 years. But yet
Oh,
you got to survive for 3 years. So it's kind of like, are you trying to
right.
prevent the nonprofits from raising money? Anyway,
Interesting.
she's recommended a dog collar, and it's really helped our dog with the retrieval, you know, getting them, you know, to come back.
Yeah, the recall.
The
Yeah.
recall, it's gone
Yeah.
up through the roof. Bonus segment here for you dog lovers. The training collars, they do work. They are humane because the new ones have 3 settings. It's sound, vibration, and then shock. And
Yeah.
all you have to do is hit them one time with the you know, the little the zapper
Yeah.
on a super low, and they get that. But then the sound and the vibrations, that's it. I mean, that collar goes on, she already knows. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be good. No problem.
Yeah, the
No
technology
problem.
is so good now that the shock isn't even really the shock. It's more like a stimulation of the muscle here too. And so, but yeah, most of the time, to your point, it doesn't even get to that. So
Nope.
it's actually really cool. The training's come a long way, which is
It's come a
nice.
long way, and it definitely helps, especially if you know, like to let your dog kind of go out and sniff and find it,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden just hit that little recall little sound button, and they hear the little collar will beep, and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I should come back now," and then no problem. Okay. Um, so as a marketing leader here at Timpl, there's a number of tools that I turn to every day that I just look at. Now, for you in sales, what are some of the tools? They can be internal, external, that you find yourself or that your team is constantly turning to help you either manage productivity, understand what's going on in the market. Just what are some of your favorites right now that you're using?
Yeah. Uh, we're pretty basic here. I think it varies person to person, right? Of course. And a lot of it's fun because the sales tooling in this day and age, there's also so many like free and PLG led sales tools that like sales reps can go and try whatever they want,
Wait,
which
I'm
is
dumb
actually
question. What's PLG?
product led growth. So it's basically the concept of free trials. So I can go on like Zoom Info, or I can go on any kind of like data enrichment tool, and they'll usually have like a 7 or 14-day free trial, right? So it allows sales reps to actually, well, if your organization allows it from a security standpoint, go and try a bunch of stuff. So I actually encourage, I guess my one note, which is fun, is I'd encourage any reps out there that might be listening to this to like have some autonomy. And, if you see some tools that are interesting, you think that could help, go sign up for 7 days or 14 days and see how it works. See if you actually see any benefits from it. For me, I'm a big LinkedIn guy, right? So I'd say that's probably my number one. Sales Navigator, if you're using that properly, it costs a little extra, but if you're using that properly, that's a great tool to manage accounts, kind of monitor and build out your territory plans and keep on updates. So I'd say LinkedIn Sales Navigator is great. For videos, if you're creating quick videos and you want to, or quick demo videos to send out for prospecting or even nurturing during the sales process or accounts, I'd say like video tools like Loom or what's some other ones?
Well, Descript, I keep seeing a lot for them.
Oh,
I don't
Descript,
use them
yeah,
yet.
yeah. So yeah, and then internal like Slack, your CRM, obviously, but Slack is obviously we're a Slack house, so we're always on Slack and communicating with our internal teams, which is helpful. So yeah, those are just a few of them, but I think it's not how many you use, it's how you use the ones you have.
Yeah, so this is where it gets going to get painful. Like I tell you, you just don't get to throw out some, top level stuff. I want to know. Okay, so LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I hear people are getting kind of exhausted though on LinkedIn. So like, are you doing anything different or unique? I mean, LinkedIn's been around.
Yeah, well, it's the beast you can't get away from, though, right?
God, but
And
everyone wants to though. I mean,
mm,
I mean, you got companies out there that are pitching, use our new software and
uh,
ditch, I just saw it this morning. Get off LinkedIn Recruiter, shift down to LinkedIn Lite or Recruiter Lite, and da 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 da. I won't mention the name of the company, but they've been on the podcast.
okay. So, well, there's different, right? Because recruiting firms have to pay for LinkedIn Recruiter, so they're in a different boat. And yet, LinkedIn is usually one of their biggest line items, in addition to their applicant tracking system. As salespeople, though, in technology or in the SaaS business, it's kind of different. It's like it's a little bit of a necessary evil because there really isn't a LinkedIn competitor that is gonna currently that has tens and hundreds of millions of professionals around the world. So you kind of and also where's your audience, right? If you're in a certain
It's
aspect of
true.
business, it's like, maybe I don't have to be on there. But for me, some people enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I also network a lot on there, and I source a lot of conversations from there. So it makes more sense for me to kind of invest more time in it.
So when you say you invest time in LinkedIn, are you going out finding prospects and commenting on their profiles? Like, does that work? Do you find that helps with engagement?
Yeah, I'd say it does. Yeah, I think doing it in a respectful way and not just like connecting with people or pitching them right away. I think people are getting quite tired of that as
Oh
buyers. I think
God,
decision
instant
makers.
pitch.
Yeah,
Like,
the pitch slap is like not looked at very favorably these days. It is
so
kind of lazy.
junior in Bush League.
Yeah, so it's it's trying to come off as respectful and also as someone who is just looking to network. And I think for me, it's look, you might not be, you're likely not in an evaluation mode now, but let's share insights and when you're ready, I'm here to answer any questions and be of help to you, right? But I
Mm.
think it's trying to become a trusted advisor or thought leader. And if they're in the market or if they're ready, then letting them know that you're there for them.
Something you did not mention as we wrap up though is don't you have a podcast or don't you have something similar?
We do, yeah. So it's kind of an extension of
So how do you use that? I mean, isn't that a good way for you to reach out to potentially kind of soft
yeah,
pitch and talk to people?
absolutely, of course. I mean, again, it's thought leadership to an extent. It's what you're doing here. It's what a lot of people are doing to try to get in front of their buyers, right? And if people think of you as someone
Don't give
who's,
my secrets away.
I know, right?
Shh.
Yeah, if someone thinks of you as someone who's an expert in the space, they're more likely to engage with you. And so, yeah, I mean, it's one thing I enjoy it. A lot of the people I've had on the podcast I've known for a long time, but they're also delivering a whole bunch of value, right? They've been in the staffing business for a long time. They are experts in their area of expertise, obviously. And that's why we call it's from the source, the expert speakers edition. So, yeah, I'm doing it about once a month, and I've had some really great speakers, and I look forward to continuing that. It's kind of a no-brainer. Again, I enjoy it, and it's just good content for people to consume.
Yeah, and it is a good way to reach out to new people that you might want to talk to at some point. Um, and you mentioned Slack and CRM. I'll just tell you, we just switched off of Slack in one of the nonprofits that I'm in and went to Zulip. And
Oh,
although Zulip, they say, has got some nice functionality, it's a big culture shock.
really?
I prefer
Yeah.
Slack. Oh, Slack is just so easy. But I've got, I have volunteers all over the state, and they just bitch and complain all the time about, I hate Slack. I'm like, Slack is the easiest tool to use.
Yeah.
But those are some of the boomers. Sorry, boomers.
Yeah,
You
it's all
guys,
right. It's all right. I mean, the people are creatures of habit. If I had to change now to something, I'd be like, again, it's like it is it's a weird transition especially once you get used to like if you get used to like a Mac, or Apple people, it's hard to switch.
oh
If you get used to
God,
Slack, I think it's like really hard to switch off. So it is what it
I know.
is.
Well, they just hate tech. Some people just hate technology. All right, as we go, this is it. My final thing. We just kind of touched on the fact that people don't like to change. Don't you feel like that's one of your biggest problems? Or no?
Yes and no. I think it's always indecision is always resistance to change is obviously the one of the biggest things that will face anybody, right? And it's human nature. One, we're talking about just general human nature, and then we're talking about people who have invested in technology in their business, and there is obviously a huge resistance to kind of deviating from the norm or kind of disrupting the status quo, because what that means is potential disruption in productivity, right? It's a whole change management. That's why that's why people have roles in change management. It's actually a job title out there, right? Or a major responsibility of some people in digital transformation is change management. So yes, people are resistant to change because it means disruption, it means headaches, it means getting used to something they're not used to, and humans just don't like to do that. That being said, it's on the sales consultant to help them understand if that change is worth it or not,
There you
right?
go.
And if you're
Risk
doing your
reward.
yeah, if
Risk
you're doing
reward.
your right, and look, it might not be, and either you're not doing your job as a sales consultant or this team just isn't ready yet, right? So, but that's the job of a good salesperson to help understand, where they're at and where they might get to if they were to
And
change.
get them through it. I mean, listen, you cannot just sit still.
No, of
I think it's
course not.
pretty obvious now. You cannot just stay where you are. So the question is, which path are you going to take?
Yep.
And
The path of least resistance is an easier path to take, but is it the one that's
but
going to get to you to where you want to go?
well said. I guess you did make it out of here okay today.
God, you almost
You
put me
just
through the ringer, but I
you
kind of
just
made it.
squeaked by. You squeaked by.
Yeah.
I was really going to hold your feet to the fire of some more of these technology. I thought, no, he's a nice guy. He's got his big conference coming up. I don't want to, beat him up too bad. He's got to look nice on stage.
Yep,
Don't want to go into
exactly.
the big shiner.
No, definitely not. But it's always a pleasure, Tony. So I really do appreciate you having me back on.
I am so glad to have you back on. And of course, we're going to have to follow back up in hopefully short order because I'm not able to go to Boston. I can't make it up there for your event. I would love to, honestly.
Next time.
Next time. But I want to hear the takeaways,
Yeah.
and let's do that. So, all right, my friend, until we talk again.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. We'll get you to the next one, or I'll come down south for it and we'll connect then.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do one down here.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Cool.
We'll talk
See you,
to
Tony.
soon.